Okay, as promised, here is my spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine. So, for those of you that want to be spoiled, feel free and enjoy this review. If you don't want to be spoiled, scroll up. So, let's get into it. Okay, so this movie is literally a love letter to the past MCU movies. Now, what I mean by that is the likes of Blade, which came out in the 90s with Wesley Snipes, Elektra, which had Jennifer Garner in it, which was a spin off of Daredevil, and Fantastic Four, which had Chris Evans before he joined Captain America. And there was also this cancelled MCU movie about Gambit, who was like this, who was like just these weird tricks with the cards. And bear in mind, these actually make a cameo in this movie. So Jennifer Garner, of course, reprises her role as Elektra. Chris Evans, he actually plays Johnny Storm in this film as well, from Fantastic Four, from that Fantastic Four universe. Wesley Snipes, yeah, who also worked with Ryan Reynolds in Blade Trinity. He also makes his debut back as Blade after 30 odd years since his last portrayal as the half vampire hunter, half mortal Blade. And also Channing Tatum, who worked with Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy along with Chris Evans in Free Guy. He of course plays Gambit with this like weird French accent. And we also get to see X-23, who was in Logan with Hugh Jackman when his character got killed off as well. She makes an appearance as well because she's over the new group that she set up with Elektra and Gambit and Blade, and that was it. But Johnny Storm doesn't really make an appearance for long because his character, his entire skin literally goes off, and he literally all you see is the muscle, and that's it. And he like gets turned to bones and blood and all that stuff by Cassandra, played by Emma Corrin, who was actually the sister of, you guess it, Professor X himself from X-Men. So, as I said to you in my non-spoiler review, Wolverine makes an appearance, and the reason for that is because Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, before all this happens, by the way, he gets to go for an interview to become an Avenger with Happy, played by John Farrow. And of course, John Farrow's character's like, yeah, you're not up for it, mate, you're not up for it at all. And he's like, oh, that's a shame. And then, of course, he meets this other guy, played by Matthew McFarlane, from that thing, Pride and Prejudice. And, of course, he is one of the bad guys, because there's not one, but two villains. So you've got Matthew McFarlane, who is the villain in this film, along with Cassandra, played by Emma Corrin, who wants to get the time-traveling device thing from Time Variant, which is from Loki. If you're familiar with Loki, that show, Loki on Disney Plus, that plays a big part in this film as well. There's also hidden eggs as well from the present Marvel films like the Avengers. You see clips of Avengers, the first Avengers movie, and then there's another scene like where Thor, who I swear to God looks like Leonardo DiCaprio with a blonde wig, I think it was him, along with a dying Deadpool, and Matthew McFarlane's like, oh no, not that, no, we don't need to see that part yet. And then, like I said, the original Avenger movies with Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, Scarlett Johansson, and Chris Evans, and Jeremy Renner, and all those. And also we get to see the likes of Iron Man's mask. We also get to see a shield belonging to Captain America, which was also in Free Guy, which had Chris Evans in it, by the way. What else? We get to see like the body of Ant-Man, which is now this big, huge layer thing that's owned by Cassandra Lord, I think her name is. And also the Deadpool cameos. Okay, so Ryan Reynolds, fair play to him, he makes another appearance as himself, well, sort of, as another Deadpool, and this is the second time he's done this since Free Guy. So there is a few references to Free Guy, like there's one scene, like I said there, with Ryan Reynolds meeting another version of himself, and then the city kind of reminds me of Free Guy as well. And coincidentally, Hugh Jackman made a cameo in Free Guy as this masked figure. But speaking of Deadpool variants, I'm going to go with Deadpool variants first. So the amount of cameos, and I remember when I saw the ending credits, and there was one particular guy, right? And I was literally shocked. I was like, holy shit, they brought this guy in as Deadpool, and I'll get to him in a minute. So Lady Deadpool is actually Blake Lively, and I literally thought it was going to be Ryan Reynolds with a blonde wig in a stunt woman's body, but it wasn't. It was actually his wife. And speaking of his wife, his daughter Inez Reynolds plays the little Deadpool with a Deadpool hoodie on her, and she's acting very sarcastic towards her father, who's Deadpool. And then there's a cowboy Deadpool who is voiced by no other than Matthew McConaughey. You read that right. Matthew McConaughey makes an appearance in this movie as Cowboy Deadpool, and I didn't even know it was him until the credits rolled down. I was like, holy shit, Matthew McConaughey was in this movie? The fuck? It was really, really well done. And we also get to see like other Deadpools as well, like I said. What else is there? Any other cameos I can think of? Oh yeah, there's also a post-credit scene where Deadpool is in the time variant again. He's like, oh, I have to see now, was I involved about Johnny Storm getting his skin ripped off by Cassandra? And of course he says, oh yeah, why don't you not bring me to the lair belong to Cassandra and get my skin ripped apart, like? And he's like, oh shit. And that was it. And also there's like behind the scenes of past Marvel films like X-Men 1 and 2 and The Last Stand, The Wolverine, Logan, Elektra, and you see like, and Blade as well. Oh no, X-Mortis Wolverine actually. And you see like a short interview with Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson back in 2009. So we're like old footage of that. Speaking of X-Men 2, I forgot to mention to you. So do you know the guy that does the fire thing? I don't know what the guy's name is, but he's superhuman power is fire, and he's in X-Men 2. Well, he makes an appearance as well in this film as well, and I was like, oh my god, that guy looks so familiar. And it dawned on me when I was watching it who he was actually the guy that does the fire in that thing, X-Men 2. Then there's this like red demon guy, and I could have sworn he was Ben Stiller, but I don't know who the guy was, but he looked like Ben Stiller. And also in the end of the movie, Deadpool was going to sacrifice his life for Logan. No, sorry. Logan was going to sacrifice his life for Wade, but then the two of them decided to do it together, to complete the thing together, and they kind of managed to stop the time variant machine. And then at the end of the movie, the two of them were going to part ways, but then Wade's just like, oh hey, and then you see Logan joining Wade and his girlfriend Vanessa, who is mysteriously alive thanks to gonna have to do a part 2 of this. So I'm gonna do a part 2 of this, okay? So this is part 1. Anyway, so his girlfriend Wade's girlfriend Vanessa, who of course died in Deadpool 2, comes back to life again because he was able to go back in time to save her, and I suppose brought her into this time frame. But the Wolverine, speaking of Wolverine, so there's another few Wolverines as well. You've got a small little midget guy, which had me cracking. And you also have Henry Cavill. Oh yeah, Superman himself, Henry Cavill, makes an appearance as Wolverine, and he just cracks me up in that film. It's a very short cameo, but he was hilarious in it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And there is, bear in mind, a lot, and I mean a lot of fourth wall jokes that Ryan Reynolds did. And I'm actually afraid that the amount of jokes that he did in this movie will literally get him cancelled. So do you know what? I'm going to do part 2, so stick around for part 2 of my spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine.